Right. Hi, everyone. I am still making lists for my tournament on the 6th of August. This is another list build for that. I am going to make a slightly competitive British Army for you guys today. And this one is going to be a spin on stuff I've been working with for a long time. And there are going to be elements here that are not competitive, that are simply stuff that I'm trying out and trying to make work. Going to that tournament, it is going to be a rookie tournament. I'm bringing two different armies, one if I am facing off against the rookie, one if I'm facing off against a veteran player. This is going to be for the veteran players. And since I'm TOing, I don't actually want to win this tournament. I just want to try out stuff. So it's not going to be my absolute best, absolute most cutting edge of competitiveness. It's just going to be stuff that I think I can make work and that I know that I want to, yeah. There are going to be units here that are not going to be competitive as such, but I really want them to be because of other reasons. So, right, I'm going to bring in LVT Buffalo, which is mad. I know they're huge, but they're actually not that big. They're surprisingly low. They're sort of the height of an average Stuart's turret, so you can get cover for very high walls, which is what I want. So, right, I'm going to share my screen with you guys, and we are going to go and build our list. So, British lists, we're here, and we're going to do we're running standard reinforced lists. I'm going to do double platoon of that because we already saw at the WTC and at the Danish Nationals that double platoons do better than single platoons. And I am still the current ruling Danish champion. I don't want to just be pushed over by anybody who faces me on the board. So we're going to start out by buying the cheapest lieutenants. Because that's how I run mine. I don't actually know how to do it in any other way that makes sense. I know people can do the snap 2. I am not that person. Then I'm going to go and buy what Alistair hates me saying, Dhaka Stuarts, because they're just so good. Are they an auto-include? Well, close to, then not necessarily, but pretty close. They're really, really good. And I'm going to buy a Dhaka Stuart for each of my platoons here. So you take the M3 Stuart 1, you buy it regular because you don't want that -1 to hit, and then you buy LMGs. You could actually buy an MMG for the turret as well, which would make them even more like flexible. Could have you split firing 3 ways, but that encourages you to use it and then be open topped, and I don't want to be that open topped at all. So that is my basis. That's pretty much the free observer. Always remember when you're playing Brits, get your free observer. I am not upgrading him to naval observer. I think that is absurd. I think he should be banned, and I don't actually think I think I'll use the points for something better. So there we go. Now I usually like to play around with stuff that is really good in close combat. There are a few options. You can go Maori infantry, but even better than that are Gurkhas. Gurkhas are really good because they are tough fighter automatically, and they have a special rule that's called scary places. That means that the enemy's attacks in close combat are halved. So they are very, very strong choices. Even better, Gurkha paratroopers. Gurkha paratroopers are stubborn as well, so they're pretty much immune to flamethrowers, which is what Gurkhas normally get killed to. And I want some big hefty units for this. I'm not going to take a lot of these units because I only have 1,000 points, and I'm already spending a lot of points on tanks, so I don't want to go and buy a lot of units, which means that I want some units that are quite big. I think I'll go 9-man units this time. And I want 2 of those. I would never ever run a single unit of assault troops. Always get 2, because you want that redundancy. One charge fails and one unit gets wiped by, I don't know, a Katusha that fires and you get hit and you lose all your troops. You're gonna need that second one. And if you have 2 unit of 8 to 9 men, 7 to 9 men, you can cover a lot of ground with those 7 to 9 men. So they are very dangerous. Right. What else? Ooh, armored cars. There's a lot of good choices in the British armored car list. Basically, the Brits have the best armored car list, and you can see that it's very, very, very long, right? So there are different schools of thoughts about what to take. Some people like the AEC heavy armored car. Let's go and look at that for a minute. It is an 8+ recce vehicle. It has a light turret-mounted anti-tank gun. But if you take the second version, which is the, let's see, the Mark 2 or 3, I believe. Yeah. And still 8+, but has a medium anti-tank gun. My issue with this is that it has only a coaxial MMG, so it is a light tank, and it can do tank rams, which is important, remember that. But it doesn't have that many shots, and it can't really split fire. Now, you could go with the long-range desert armored truck. That can split fire quite a lot. You could go with the recce carrier, which is a Bren carrier that has recce and it's not like transport. So you could even go with the early war motorcycle and then pick 3 of those. Very, very good. A PPA flamethrower jeep, also very, very good. Can move up and flamethrower stuff to death. After the Japanese nerf, though, it's not that good against Japanese anymore. The British Airborne Recce Jeep is very good, and that I'll take one of those. Look, 35 points for a regular Jeep, has a Vickers MMG, but you can upgrade it to twin MMGs for 10 points. That is very, very cheap. That's an MMG for 10 points. So now this vehicle is 45 points, and it has 10 shots, and it has recce, and it moves. Beat that MMGs that are in infantry teams. That is just amazing. Amazing. So value for money, that is one of the best things you can buy. Now, I'll show you the other best thing you can buy in the armored car slot, and that is the Staghound heavy armored car. This is the best armored car, in my view, of the game. It's 145 points. It's an 8+ closed top vehicle. It has recce. It has a light anti-tank gun, 4+, but it has a lot of options. There's a lot of things that you can buy. You can make it into a Staghound Mark II, get a light howitzer. You can make it into a Staghound Mark III and get the medium anti-tank gun. But none of these are really good. You can also add the pintle-mounted MMG, but as it is, it has a coaxial MMG, a hull-mounted MMG, and a light anti-tank gun. That is perfect. It is one of the only closed-top choices for armored cars that is a tank and can do split fire. So I am going to buy that just for that reason. Now, oh, sorry, I forgot to actually mark it off. I want to buy it, not just go back. So a regular Staghound Mark I heavy armored car. Perfect. Right now, my list has 3 tanks in it. 3. And I have 2 very heavy charge ready troops. I'm going to have to buy some infantry over here. I could go and buy some really cheap, dirt cheap infantry, which I think I might do, but I could also just go native irregulars. They're very, very cheap, aren't they? I can go inexperienced 3-men native irregulars. That is what I want to do. Very cheap, safe. The thing about native irregulars is that they don't get the rules of the British. So they don't get whatever national special rule that I'm going to pick. I don't care about that because they are just here to be a cheap order dice and stick in something that some kind of transport, which I'm going to buy now. Might as well get it over with. People will yell at me no matter what I do now because I am bringing an LVT Buffalo. Now, the Buffalo is huge. I'm going to use it as mobile cover. I'm also going to use it as a machine gun nest because it has 2 MMGs, Pindle mounted MMGs, 360. They can fire all the way around. It can also add a hull mounted MMG for 10 points, which I'm going to do. Very, very cheap. I could even buy the Paulson gun, light autocannon. Again, 360, really good. But it's on a chassis that is pretty expensive for what it does. It's 123 points, and it's only 7+ open topped. So definitely not worth it, but I can transport all my guys in it. Look at that, 30-men transport. Or it can even carry a Jeep or a Bren carrier. So I can actually put a Bren carrier inside this and push it up. So I have double moved 9 inches from the board edge, moving up, move the Bren carrier out, moving up, and then in the Bren carrier have a flamethrower and just throw that the rest of the way and kill stuff. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Right. I'm buying this no matter how much you yell at me now, and I'm doing that because I want to field it. I have a model, I want to field it, I want to get better with this model. So this is purely for training purposes. Right, that brings me to 983 points. I have a few points left over. What can I get for those points? I could get extra men for my lieutenants. That might be worth it, actually. I could also buy some extra native irregulars. I don't want to do that. They're pretty good as they are. I think I'll just buy an extra dude, my lieutenant, because that will give me an extra SMG and an extra man for my artillery observer, because that will give me an extra SMG as well. Right, that is 1,000 points. Let's view it. Now, it is low on order dice. It's 12 order dice, which is too low for my comfort, but that is because I am running the expensive LVT. So that takes up at least 2 other choices. I could also ditch the stack hound, get an extra Recce Jeep, which would free up 100 points. Which may actually be better, but I want to run 3 tanks in this list with the extra LVT as a possible 4th tank. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, for special rules, what should I use here? Normally, when I have Gurkhas in my list, I will go with Up and Atom because that will mean that they charge no matter what happens. With only 2 units of Gurkhas in it, in the list, is this really worth it? I could also go with Vengeance, which removes pins from all units on a 4+. I actually think I'm going to try this because that will still mean that I get to remove pins from my Gurkhas when they charge. They just don't get to automatically charge. So, but it will also mean that I get to remove pins from my my tanks. Vengeance. Look at Vengeance here. Every regular veteran unit that has one or more pin markers can make a test to lose pin markers if there are enemies within 12. So I need to be up close and personal, which is where I want to be with most of these units. Being within 12 of an enemy unit is where the Darkest unit wants to go, and it's definitely where the Gurkhas want to go. So yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm going with Vengeance. So could I make this more competitive? Yes, definitely. But I think this has what I need to train. It has some different units than what I'm used to. The native irregulars, the LVT. And it has different. Levels of armor. It has 3 armored vehicles instead of just 2. And it has the Vengeance special rule, which should affect most of my army, except the lieutenants and the native regulars, which I don't care about those anyway. So yeah, I think that was it. And that is what I'm going to bring to the tournament. I have all the models. Everything is painted, ready to go. Let's see how I do. Right. Thank you so much for following this, and good luck to yourselves if you're going to tournaments, if you want to build competitive, if you want to send me lists, go ahead. If you want to subscribe to the channel, go ahead. Pretty soon I'll make some announcements about different tournaments that are coming up that I'm excited to go to. And when the packs for different tournaments drop as well, I'll also go through them, and that will be something to see as well for the future of this channel. So, right, cheers.